Morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's edition of MPC Markets Morning Call, 26th of August, 2025. Headline this morning, Nvidia carries the index as the broader markets drift lower. Nvidia reporting earnings on Wednesday this week, which will be Thursday our time. Wall Street's still expecting them to beat forecasts and deliver very strong guidance. Supported by robust demand trends and a rebound in China sales following President Trump's decision to ease those restrictions on H20 chips. So, but as you can see here overall, the ASX actually started really strong yesterday. The selling really started in the Asian session, I've got to say, particularly in the ASX. We started very strong and then drifted off to eke out a small gain. As we can see here, we're still overall technically very strong here as it stands at the moment, but we're more, it's weakening a little bit on the hourly and the daily side. There was still some remaining positivity around Fed Powell's remarks, although there was some conjecture and some counterpoint from a few analysts and a few market pundits over the course of the evening saying, maybe we've misunderstood Jerome Powell. Maybe it was a bit more hawkish than people thought, etc. I think it's just more, lack of anything else to talk about realistically overnight. This is going to be, for instance, this will be a short podcast because there wasn't a hell of a lot. I didn't think I'd ever be talking about Dr. Pepper announcing the acquisition of a Dutch coffee company, JDE Peet's, which, when you start talking about European stocks and acquisitions of companies that you would never consider buying, that's usually a fair indication the market's fairly quiet. As you can see here, Nvidia and Google and Tesla were really the only things up overnight. Obviously, just for a little bit of explainer, the size of the square in this market map, in this heat map, is relative to the market cap of the company. So obviously they're three fairly large squares there, and which obviously counteracts nearly holds. Well, obviously you can see there Nvidia is inclusive of Amazon's almost as big as that entire health technology and retail trade section. So overall, as I say, broader weakness, and really we are winding up on earnings season overall. Netflix was up a little bit. Financial sector was a touch weaker as well, but there was no news. I can pretend there was some news overnight, but realistically there wasn't. Look, we saw Treasuries yields drift a little bit lower as well, which kind of should have supported the market, but didn't. Yesterday we had earnings. Reece got absolutely hammered. Ansell on the flip side rallied very, very nicely. Today we should have a Fortescue, Coles, Viva and AUB Group. Nothing out in terms of economic numbers. Woolworths will follow up on Wednesday. Sort of had favoured Woolworths over Coles, not necessarily on quality of operation, but more so they were a lot cheaper, and the divergence between those two supermarket, that duopoly, made Woolworths look very, very cheap. But I would be interested to see how they are going. The new CEO, Amanda Bardwell, came from the digital background of the company. She's been at Woolworths for a number of years, but really earned her spot, as with quite a number of female ASX 200 CEOs. Unfortunately, it usually comes on the heels of some ancient white bloke getting fired, but what she did with that digital arm and the marketing arm, and with that, Woolworths is highly respected as one of the best digital marketing businesses in the world. Their reward system and they were on AI many years ago. I think that section of the business where they bought Quantum was it's about $11 billion market cap. Or thereabouts, but in a couple of books I've read, they were held about personalised marketing, and AI, Woolworths was held in very high regard and quite often a case study. So with her at the helm, it may, you may see actually, some form of broader turnaround with better quality management. I don't know. She's been there a year now though, so I would expect to see at least some green shoots overall. But usually it is a case of if one does well, the other doesn't do well. So if Coles disappoints today, maybe that leads to Woolworths looking like it's fairly cheap. So yeah, but let's have a look at commodities now. Gold was down a little bit, silver as well. This is just look on the back of the US dollar being up, basically. Bitcoin dropped a touch. Coal was up a little bit. Lithium was up a little bit again. But again, everything's just a little bit. Realistically, this is going to be a pretty quiet market, and particularly until Nvidia reports earnings, and even then, I don't really see the market moving in any way, in any significant way until we get that payrolls number on the 5th. So a bit of a holding pattern for now. I would imagine it's a good time to get together. Doing a bit of a portfolio review and essentially, setting a bit of a shopping list. As I've said on many podcasts prior, we're heading back towards cash. We've got a short-term hedge on for the next couple of months, and essentially what I'm going to be doing for our clients here at MPC is going through the list, making sure that we're not carrying anything that we don't want to be carrying. Ensuring that we're getting all of our dividends, etc., and getting a little bit organised, and using this time as a little bit of admin. And then going back through these high conviction lists, and that we've got over 60 stocks on the high conviction list, and having a bit of a look at what levels we'd like to be buying. Not only the index, the ASX 200 and the S&P, but the but which high conviction picks would probably work well in a circumstance where we've got declining rates because the economy is softening, and setting that shopping list and making sure that we're all organised so we get to take advantage of the buy, like we did back in April, which was very profitable for us. So yeah, as I said, I don't really expect too much out of today. But you can probably just keep one eye on it, and have a look out for. We've got some webinars coming over the course of the next couple of weeks, in the areas of defence stocks and the AI hyperscalers. We've just come off a very successful and very popular structured investment that we've sold here at MPC, and I'm going to put a little webinar around those, which we'll do live in the coming weeks, and you sort of get our thoughts on this, because it's a bit of a no-brainer over the next few years, and you'll get a bit of insight and some free stock picks. Look, have a great day. I've stretched this out long enough, and we'll chat again tomorrow morning. General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.